Is it weird now? Like you said, like there's a lot of guys that you're taught to literally just set up middle of the plate for. Is that like a transition almost? Like I feel like that's got to be weird for a catcher because guys' stuff is so good. They're like just set up middle and let them throw it, and like wherever it goes, it's going to be okay.
I mean, yeah, they tell me like, hey, would so and so just set up down the middle, like fastball, and I'm like,
What do you mean?
like,
Right down the middle?
yeah, no, like, yeah, and I'm trying to give it like I think like Newcomb, I think one of our guys, like he's got a pump heater, big curveball, he's got a cutter, sliderish in him, and he's like, there'll be I know there would be a time where I'm like literally like not like half an inch, and they're like, no, that's too much. Just set. I'm like, okay. I mean, if he yanks it, I got to be able to catch it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting because some guys, if you set up down the middle, their shit is so nasty that either it plays like middle up, or if they miss middle to a corner, like that's more effective than trying to ask a guy to hit the corner and his stuff leaks back middle or off the plate. It's really interesting that like some of these guys, and there's times when I look at the video when I'm hitting and the catcher's just set up middle, and the guy's spraying the corners. And it's like, how are you doing that? How are you able to hit the corner while aiming for middle every time?
Yeah. And then they're like high target. They like got a target over their head. And I'm like, like hitters try to take a peek. I'm like, what is it? Like, this guy's got his glove way high here, man. Like, what in the world's going on? And then it's like a slider down and in. And he does this every time.
Yan, so tough. Anytime anybody wins a World Series, obviously it's a special year. But 2019, you guys were, I don't want to say the underdog, but you weren't a favorite at all, right? Throughout the whole year, basically. When you either get to the World Series, you guys taste that, you have a really good team. When does it kind of sink in when you're like, holy shit, we have a chance? Or is it kind of just when it's over, like, holy shit, we just did that?
I think it's all the above. So we started the year off like we were supposed to win our division. Our rotation was like nearly a $500 million rotation. We had Scherzer, Strasburg, Corbin, Anibal Sanchez, and Joe Ross in the fifth spot. Like we had a very good team, and we were underperforming big time. So that's where like the odds came out. Like we were, the big story, 19-31, 50 games in, and we try to, have this conversation of like, hey man, like either we're all fired, we're all gone, and we're not going to have a team, or like, the go 1-0, like try to like just win one game and we'll worry about the next. And that was like some kind of magic meeting that after that, like we were, and I've talked to Happ all the time about this. I'm like, man, like we were just having a blast. Like we were, going out together as a team, having dinner together as a team, like partying. Like it was a blast. And then we were just so far behind Atlanta, we could not catch them up because they got hot as well. We couldn't catch them up in the NL East division. I think we ended up like a couple games back. We ended up having to host Milwaukee. And by that time, like, man, like if you gave us any kind of hope, our team, it was that feeling, like when you're hot, like it does not matter. We could be down 3 or 4 in the ninth. Like if there's something, we're going to give it a shot and try to make a comeback. And that whole playoffs, like we were 5 elimination games, all down to like 6 or 7 outs.
The one against the Brewers was nuts.
Dude, it couldn't, like, story couldn't have been better. Like, the history of like how that whole season went. We got, I think it's the 8th inning, and Josh Hader's up and Juan Soto's up. It's like these are the 2 perennial like best players in the game at that time, and Hader's punching out like 20 guys an inning. Like this guy's a game, like this guy's just like, if you put the ball play, it's a win, and Juan Soto comes up and hits a bases loaded, which would have been a single at first, but we gave some extra money to our grounds crew to put some stuff out there and they kick
Put some snake out there.
Yeah, and yeah, we ended up, and then that was just like the whole vibe in the world in the playoffs. Like we go and play the heavy favorites in LA, and we were down like to elimination game, come home, we ended up winning, and then go over there and take it from them in LA. Like that was a tough thing to do.
Didn't somebody hit a grand slam that in an eliminate or was it game 5 or was it?
Yeah, game 5. We're down. I don't know the specific, but I know we're down, and so we're down 3-1 or 3-0. No, 3-1, and it was just a big story because they brought in Kershaw instead of I think it was like Adam Kolarek, like a big sinker ball. He was owning Soto all postseason, and Rendon leads off, hits a homer off of Kershaw. So now it's 3-2. Next pitch, Soto comes up, bomb off Kershaw. So now it's like a tie ball game. And then later in the 8th or 9th, or maybe I think we might have went into extras. Joe Kelly's up, and Howie Kendrick hits a grand slam.
Right, Howie Kendrick.
And that's when we were like, oh my goodness, like we did it again. And then it kept going. And then
Jan, is Juan Soto the best hitter you've ever played with?
No, it's you, Ian.
Juan Soto is, yes.
What?
No, it's you, Ian.
Hey, thanks.
The backside Ian is like the prettiest swing I've ever seen. Like he'll take a backdoor curveball and just like pirouette out of the batter's box, and
the one hand finish.
Oh, it's beautiful. But to your question, Juan Soto is definitely the most mature hitter like I have ever been around. Like how he can work the zone, how much fun he's having. Dude, I don't know if I knew a strike zone when I was 22 years old. I'm sure none of us know a strike zone or know how you can work that game. This dude is doing it at such a high level at 23 years old, man. I wasn't this good in Little League when I was supposed to be the best player in the game. Like, you know what I mean? Like none of us were doing the stuff that he's doing. And he's doing it, you can see video. He's doing it against freaking Verlander in the World Series. Like he's over there like trying to taunt Verlander. I'm like, come on, man. And he's all game, man. He's all game.
He's fun to watch. His ability to control the strike zone. I mean, you've played with some really good hitters. So you got Jose Ramirez, Lindor,
Michael Brantley.
Trey Brantley.
That's so hitter.
Yeah, no, they're those guys. Like there's so many guys that are just lengthen your lineup and make things like that. And yeah, I've been. It really makes me underachieve. Oh yeah, I played against those guys. They're so good, and I'm just like, just get on base. Like try to get on base like every once in a while for these guys. They'll drive you in.
I have a question about pitchers, but before we get to it, I need to talk about Mugsy jeans. Mugsy's are the most comfortable jeans out there. You ever had Mugsy's, Jan? Did you get a pair of Mugsy's when they came in the clubhouse?
I didn't, man. I can't believe I passed on this.
You know what? I should have made sure that you got some. Maybe next time, because there's more room for everything in there, but they're stretchy, so they fit tight, but they stretch out where you need it. And they're my favorite jeans. It's all that I wear. I actually bought Shorty a pair of Mugsy jeans his first big league camp. Him and Nico.
I think I was friends with you. Yeah,
and then
very, very pro.
And then they said, "Nice job, Ian. Go to the bushes." I said, "Thanks, guys."
You want to be friends with them? We'll send you there with them all season.
Yeah, well, you can spend plenty of time with them. Mugsy.com, 10% off your entire order using code JOHNBOY. That's Mugsy.com, 10% off code JOHNBOY. I highly recommend Mugsy jeans. They're the best out there.
Zach, you wear them, don't you?
I do. I still have that pair that Ian got me.
Nice.
Jan, you've caught a lot of really good pitchers. Do you have Scherzer's most wins?
No, Alex Avila. He caught him through that whole time in Detroit, and they've.
Oh yeah, Detroit time. Yeah. You have Kluber for a long time. That whole Indians rotation that was disgusting.
Yeah.
couple years with the Nats discussing rotation. What quality of a pitcher do you think is like the most, when you go to catch a guy, you're like, this dude has it. It's really fun to catch that guy. Is it commanding the ball to spots? Is it just like pure bulldog, like psychopath? Like what's the most fun thing for you behind the dish?
Well, I mean, there's multiple. I mean, I probably should just keep. So the bulldog mentality to me is like, because he's trying everything he can to, and I mean, Dakota's a pitcher. Like, if you have your best stuff every time you go out, that'd be great. Like, oh,
Yeah.
cool. Like, I'm throwing my ball exactly where I want. Like, this is it. It's happening. I'm getting everybody out. But that doesn't happen very often. And that's where those elite guys that I've caught, they wouldn't have that, but they would still give you 6 innings. And to me, that is like one of the most underappreciated things from aces that they do. Like, they'll go out there and, you can tell like the first inning, like, hey, everybody's ambushing. Hey, let's just get through this one. And then they end up, that ace mentality comes out and they end up striking out still like 8 to 10 guys.
Wasn't it Lester that said that? Like 5 starts, you're going to have your best stuff. 5, you're going to have nothing. And then your other 20, you got to figure it out.
That was his skit, was like, you're going to have 5 where you just absolutely dominate and nobody can touch you. You're going to have 5 where you get shelled and you don't make it through, 4 innings and it sucks. And then the way you make your season is the 20, 22 starts in the middle. And you really got like, that's that bulldog mentality and like making it 6, 7 innings with 2 or 3 runs, like those make your season. And I always thought that was such an interesting way to think about the year.
No, yeah. From the pitchers though, like Scherzer, you know what you're getting out of Scherzer. He's just like, he just looks at you with those crazy eyes. You don't know which eye to look at. So he just already intimidates you. That whole staff in Cleveland, it was like it was a young staff that I could kind of like, we could call a game with those guys. You had at that time, like, I was just, with Kluber, he's short. Did you end up facing Kluber at any point?
No.
It's kind of funny because one of our guys here, Jim Adushi, talks about it all the time. Like, dude, you would get it. You would get into account, and then he was like, you don't know if he's going to run a 95 back 2-seamer, a 4-seamer up. He's going to go curveball down, or he's going to, stick a backdoor cutter. And that's how it was. Like, it was so much fun catching him because you could literally just crisscross one side of the plate, and guys would be like, what in the heck? And then you're in the 4th with 7, 8 punches, and you're kind of cruising to the game. He was a lot of fun. One of the more fun guys too was Pat Corbin. He, especially in that 19th season, he had a tremendous season. I knew it was going to be a lot of work because he would bounce about 80% of the sliders.
Yeah.
So whatever happened, I knew I was punching in the work clock today. I was like, I was coming in. I am working today. If I don't get a hit, I work today because I knew I was going to be blocking a lot of balls, and guys would be, it was always like left side. So left hip would always be sore after the game because I'm taking ball like everywhere. So.
Some dents in your chest protector.
Oh yeah.
The watching that the World Series in 16 when Kluber, I can't remember what game in the World Series. Maybe did he throw game 1?
So Kluber threw game 1, 4, and 7.
So the one
talking about bulldog mentality.
Yeah, when he threw game 1, I think you guys punched Coughlin's ticket like 3 times in a row, but it was on literally like 9 hip shots. It was just like he was throwing sinkers that started behind lefties to the inside corner, and it was like 9 in a row of like, oh, strike 3. It's like, what is this pitch he's throwing? It's demented. That thing is insane.
Yeah, guys would come in, and so we get to face the Tigers all the time, and I was like, in that lineup, you had Kinsler, Cabrera. Probably shouldn't have started the names. I'm going to forget half of their names. And Avila, and they would all turn around and like, what is this, man? Like, this guy's cheating. I know, like Cabrera, he's one of the best hitters in our generation. He would, he tagged him a couple of times, but even that was like, they're like, he's moving the ball. I don't know. Now the whole, what is that, horizontal break, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what a good one is. Or is it? I wouldn't know. I don't.
Yes. That's yes. Like when you're throwing sinkers, that's like the horizontal.
What's a good number on horizontal break, Shorty?
I want to say any like Keuchel the other day was throwing. I mean, his he's not obviously what he was, but he was throwing like negative 15 inches, I think. So it's like, I don't know, X and Y axis, and it's just going like 15 inches that way or something like that. I don't know.
You don't care as much. You handle horizontal break. You care about the vertical break.
Yeah, that's when I see when I say the horizontal, I'm like, ooh, I got a chance today. I can go right in my loop.
This is me.
Right, get some more on there, why don't you? But like when you see that vertical, I'm like, wait. So Jan, you mentioned Miggy. Being around him, where it's like, he doesn't really. I mean, I love paying attention. It's kind of tough now. Like he's a little banged up, but he still has unbelievable at bats. Where it's like, could you imagine what this guy was doing in like 2010 through 2015 or whatever it was? And somebody like him, like those great hitters, do you even look at a scouting report, or you just kind of you try to get in their head and fluster them as much as possible? Where you're like, all right, we haven't thrown this pitch in 4 pitches. Let's see if he's on it. I mean, because pretty much every area in that strike zone is going to be red, right? I mean,
no, absolutely. Miggy was one of the toughest guys because he was a big time inside out guy. So like, okay, you can just sit and live away, up and away, because he just puts you in, backside freaking homers. And then, yeah, also it's a little bit different now, but like throwing inside to big time hitters, like not many guys could do it. Like, you got Miguel Cabrera, Triple Crown winner, MVP guy, like, oh, let me just throw him heaters inside. And guys were like wouldn't be fully committed to it. So they will miss like middle end. Next thing you know, he's hitting the camera well in dead center, which talk about a front row seat to some of those homers. Those were always interesting to watch. With Miggy, there's necessarily no setting him up because he was so into his swing. Like he never came out of it. He never really like tried to pull. He was a tough guy. Like during that stretch, it was tough. You just had to try to like scare him out of the zone, and he was a tough guy to definitely try to get out.
That's what you had to try to get him to hit 415 feet to center Detroit, and he's out.
Oh, at that no, he was
keep him in center.
Yeah, except that you try to do that, and then you have him and JD Martinez going back to back on each camera well. They'll hit the one on the right center and the one on the left center. So it's like, okay, cool. Like we're keeping everyone in the game here.
Miggy, it's crazy even watching him in BP, where it's like he's so, like you said, in tune with his swing. Like he'll foul 3 off into the right field seats, and he'll walk out like, "Oh yeah, Shorty, I'm there," and I'm like, "Timeout." What? Like, if I did that, I'm like, "Hey, throw me like another run. Give me like 4 more." Where he just knows what he wants to do, and he's been doing it for so long. And like he'll still, like you said, have those inside out swings and just laugh all the way to first base. Where it's like, holy shit, he's 39. His knees all banged up, and it's like, could you just imagine what he was doing?
Yeah, I actually have a pretty cool story. We're facing in later on in the season, early on when we had Danny Salazar. You remember Danny? I mean, Danny was your prototypical just set up middle. This guy's throwing 99-101 with the football change-up split thing that he throws. It was knuckling. First 2 ABs, first and second, he punches Miggy's tickets. I mean, it is like boom, boom, boom. 3, and then he's like, you're feeling good, man. Like you just punched his ticket on just your power stuff. Second AB comes up again, boom, change up, boom, punch his ticket again. So he's like, I mean, he's pumping his chest. Miggy's even like, oh man, this kid. Third AB comes up, it's like 7th or 8th. We're really hot, right? We're trying to go split. It's like first and second, we're down or we're up 1, go heater, boom, punch, like strike 2, next heater, 99, hits the progressive car in right center field. And then you could tell like Miggy was like looking at him like, like that whole like this is my house kind of thing. Like he's looking at him as like, this is the ones that matter, bud. And it was just like such a deflating moment where you're like, how? Like we just like he was nowhere near like hitting him, and Miggy comes up third at bat, puts him like a 2-3 run homer dead center off of Danny, and you just see like that deflated, because this game will do this to you. This game, like you can hit a ball, like do all these things, and then like you go out there and give up a homer, especially for pitchers, man. Like he was having a great game, and then a 3-run homer, and it was like he tucked his tail between his leg and just walks back in the dugout. Now he's got no story to tell because he gave up a 3-run homer to him.
When you watch dudes like Miggy, Soto is a good example. Like the most impressive thing to me when you watch those guys every day that are so consistent, like they can get their ticket punched twice to start the game. And it's just like, all right. Like they just keep registering information, and they're like, I'm gonna get you. At some point I'm gonna get you. And like I always feel like that watching Miggy or watching Soto or Vladdy a little bit. It's like that. It's like at some point, they're good enough hitters who are gonna pop you, and just keeping that. It feels like they're always confident going in there.
Yeah, when that bat counts, those guys will jump in and get the knock when it needs to. And I mean that's what makes them superstars. That's what makes them 300 hitters. They can do that kind of stuff and make you pay.
Can we get to Sloan screen time, or do you guys have another question for Jan? I know you have a Shorty has to go to the ball yard at some point.
I think I'm good. I'm good for a little bit more. If you got any more questions, I think we've hit a bunch of topics.
We're getting close to our hour mark where Tom's going to say he's not editing anymore.
Tom's pissed.
The
Yankees stink.
Do you want to talk about the Yankees real quick? Let's talk about the Yankees before we get into Sloan screen time. What do you guys think about the Yankees? So they're
screwed, Tom. They're screwed. I'm so sorry. You guys are done. The season's over.
We
might not even make the playoffs.
Speaking of great hitters, we haven't even mentioned Judge, and he just hit his 50th last night.
7 games up. I don't know. The Rays are tracking him down.
And they got Scotty coming back soon.
Hope so.
Oh my God. Judge hit 50. That's really impressive. He has to hit 10 in the last month to get to 60. He's only the third Yankee all time to hit 50 more than once.
Is that good?
Really?
That's pretty cool.
That's a crazy stat.
That's pretty cool. Tom, would you like to say anything about your Yanks as you wear a Rays shirt as the Rays are tracking down the Yanks in the division? Oh my God, you're a traitor. What do you have to say?
I'm good. See you next week.
Whoa, Tom, are you waiting for another losing streak, or what do we got? What, they win 5 games in a row and you tuck your tail between your legs?
No, I mean they lost 2 in a row to the A's.
The A's are a good ball team.
It's baseball.
Okay.
Hey,
that's the other thing.
You're talking to Oakland A legend Yan Gomes right now.
Hey, 2-month rental that didn't work out.
Wait, time out. What do you got on the Coliseum? It's got some grit, I will say that, but whoa.
What do you mean, whoa?
I don't want to answer this.
No. I'm with you.
Give me a
whoa is not a question.
I'm with you. Whoa. I mean, you walk down the stairs to the field and you have to walk through a puddle of in the away locker room. You have to walk down these stairs. Yeah. And I'm like, what guys, what's going on? They're like, just a Coliseum, man. You just walk through it. I'm like, what do you mean?
Can you imagine making your debut as a visiting player at the Coliseum? like, welcome to the show, bud.
Welcome, man. You made it. Congrats.
Hey, I mean, I'll be honest, man. Getting traded there is a massive surprise, but then I gained a lot of respect for the guys there. Like the way they grinded, that team, we were on, they were really good. 75% of that team is not there anymore, I think, so they're all on contender teams. But those guys, man, they made that clubhouse fun. Just think of the same way that you guys or I mean, I played on the visiting side as well. Like the same way we walk down, it's the same way the home side. So there's not really an advantage from both sides. But I know last year they took over the Raiders clubhouse. So if I mean, you're talking about 50 something players, you know, like in the football. Try putting 26 guys in there. It was the biggest clubhouse I have ever been in. Like you wouldn't see guys for a couple of days.
Like, is he here today?
Yeah, like there was one guy that got called up. I didn't realize he got called up until like 3 days later because he's like tucked in and like in a different locker, like the punters and the linebackers and the wide receivers. They're like in total different corners, and yeah, we wouldn't see guys until like, oh, hey man, I didn't know you were up here when he comes up to the mound.
It is true, like what you said, you know, like you give those guys a lot of credit where like I was pretty close with Robbie Grossman. He was really good to me, and he came from there. And he said, I think they made the playoffs once or twice with them. And he was just like, they had that like just attitude where it was like, look, this is what we got and we're going to win. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We're going to have a really close locker room. Yeah, we might not have the Globe Life field to go back to, but it's like, this is ours and we're still going to win. We're going to do it.
Yeah. But I'll tell you, man, like other than like, you know, playing in a playoff game in the World Series, the Bay series where San Francisco and Oakland play each other, man, that is like one of the coolest events. Like that guy's like, if you're like a fan of the game and stuff, like you need to go watch them play at the Coliseum. It was 52 some thousand people at the game. It was intense. Awesome. It was World Series kind of game. Like you get a hit and they're like freaking out and stuff. It was insane.
We played there out of the break this year. We had a doubleheader just one day, and anytime Stephen Vogt came up, the people in the outfield were beating their drums, still screaming like, "We believe in Stephen Vogt. We believe in Stephen Vogt." And it was just like Robbie was like, "Bro, they do it all game. This crew out in like right center, they're there every single game, no matter what, good or bad." And they are just an incredible fan. Like you said, 52,000 people for a Bay Area game. It's just insane.
Yeah, then 4,000 when the next team comes in. Like on a Monday.
Let's get to our Sloan screen time. We're here in Toronto, and there's no Sloan flushers in the players' locker room. Okay, but if you go to the coach's locker room, you can find a Sloan flusher. So guess where I'm spending all my time?
I'm in the
coach's locker room, going to the bathroom. Okay, I'm not using another product. Absolutely not. I don't believe in it. If you need flushers, if you need automatic flushers, if you need automatic faucets, Sloan Valve. They're your guys. 4 hours and 6 minutes for me yesterday. That is not great.
What do you mean?
5:21.
Yeah, I had an off day. I was 5:35 yesterday.
Let's go. I beat Zach. And that was
I'm low, man. I'm 3:59.
Wow.
You're
What were
wearing
you
a Rays
doing
shirt.
yesterday?
We can't take anything you say seriously anymore.
I'm sorry. You want me to show you 3:59?
No, I believe you.
Yeah, I believe you. No, not today. It's yesterday's.
Yeah, that's today. That's yesterday. Monday, right there.
Jan, do you have your screen time?
I don't know. How do I check? Sorry.
Go to settings.
Wait, I'm on my phone. I have to like get off this thing. The Zoom. Is there still a way to check that?
Just swipe it up. It'll pause it.
All right, let's see it. This is gonna be pretty embarrassing. Because I read on my phone.
Yes.
No, 3 hours. 3 hours on the dot.
Is that today or yesterday?
No, dude, I haven't been awake that long.
God, I was hoping that was today. That would have been unbelievable. It would have been all phone time. 3 hours. That's pretty good.
Ian, guess what I'm doing next Monday?
Golfing.
Playing TPC Sawgrass.
Ooh.
Oh.
You're kind of a big deal, huh?
It's gonna be sick. We got a little discount. It's gonna be nice.
Jan, do you golf?
I do. I do golf. I usually save it for off season, but I'll go like a couple of times. We got actually a big trip planned to Kiawah Island right when the season ends. Going to play the ocean course. It's gonna be a fun time.
Jan has some tour friends.
Really?
Ooh,
Oh,
bigger ones than you,
Yes.
Ian.
Yeah, Jan's a big deal.
Ooh, ooh.
Yeah, Jan is a big deal. 10 years.
Does that hurt you a little bit, Ian? Does that hurt a little bit?
who's your
Little
tour
fan.
friend? My tour friend just got hot this year.
Streels.
Uh,
Kevin Streelman.
Streelman's a tour friend. Nick Watney's a tour friend.
Joel Damon, friend of the pod.
Joel Damon, friend of the pod, tour friend. I have a couple tour friends. I have a couple guys floating around out there. Nick Hardy, tour friend. Not a big deal. I'm not going to keep
There you
name
go.
dropping all my tour friends.
Well, let me
Tiger
tell you
Woods,
my
ever
tour
heard of him?
friends. Yeah, we're friends. Scott Stallings is
Ooh,
my buddy. Scott Brown, Kevin Kisner.
Whoa, Kevin Kisner's
we
your
gotta
friend.
We've
Jan's got a
we have
lot
like
of
the
friends.
same. We have the same trainer.
that's
He's
sick.
we all like kind of work out with the same guy. So my physique is the golfer physique.
You're built
guys-
to
those guys are
rotate, Jan.
flexible.
You're
Yeah.
built to rotate.
Guys can move.
No, so we get to go to a lot of tournaments. Actually, went to a Detroit tournament when they had it. I was trying to follow the big league rules. Ian, we have this issue every now and then of wearing my jeans and polo on the road. So I went to a golf tournament wearing jeans and a polo, and that's a bad deal. I was sweating profusely. So it became this big joke with me and Stallings that at every hole he would go into like their cooler and throw waters at me. So I can. So anytime those guys come to a game, it's like a big joke. It's like a side joke of like I send them waters up to wherever they're seeing.
That's pretty good.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Jan, thank you for joining us and being such a loyal compound listener.
Oh,
And you
I mean,
do
I'm gonna have
Mad
to
Gun
skip-
here, and that's all that matters.
that's all that matters. I did listen to one of them where you guys wanted Madrigal and myself to come on. I told Ian, I will fight you if Madrigal comes on before I do.
He told us you would not enjoy that.
Madrigal is a little instigator, and he would rub that in my face for a long time.
Chihuahua.
Yeah, little guy, stay in your lane, little guy.
Zach,
Thanks,
I think you're
Jan.
big. I think you're bigger than Magical, Zach.
I think I am too, just a little bit.
Madrigal's
What is-
taking a lot of good swings. He's just he's not staying in his lane right now. He's trying to hit some homers, and it's just coming up short.
He
Well,
made it.
I saw a stat. He has 4 3-hit games this month, and he had 7 his whole career before this month. That's crazy. He's
Guy
been
Rick.
raking.
He made it
Guy,
kick yesterday at second base with Morel throwing
Wow.
the play ball.
That was nasty.
Madrigal's a heck of a player. He can put the bat on the ball.
If I don't wrap this episode up, we're gonna keep going,
Yep.
and then Tom's gonna
All
yell at me. It's episode 125 of the Compound Podcast presented by Parsley Rum. I love Parsley, you love Parsley. When I say Parsley, you say Rum. Parsley.
Rum.
The rub.
See you next week.